For this recipe, we're using 4 Granny Smith apples. Using a potato peeler, go ahead and peel your apples just like so. Then cut the apples in half through the stems. Use a melon buller to remove the core. Once all the cores are out, remove the stems with a paring knife. Then slice the apples in 1/4 inch thick slices. For the pastry, we are using 1 box of puff pastry. Follow the instructions on the box on how to defrost the puff pastry. Now, line a baking sheet with parchment paper or a baking mat. And once the puff pastry has been defrosted, transfer onto the baking tray. This baking tray is not big enough, so they are going to overlap a little, but that's okay. No worries. In a small mixing bowl, add half a cup of granulated sugar, followed by 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Then whisk to combine. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Dice 4 tablespoons of cold, unsalted butter. Sprinkle the dough with 1 tablespoon of the sugar-cinnamon mixture. Place overlapping slices of apples until the pastry is covered with apple slices. Meanwhile, preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 200 degrees Celsius. Then sprinkle with the sugar-cinnamon mixture. Place the diced butter over the apple slices. Now bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes to 1 hour, or until the pastry is browned and the edges of the apples start to brown. Meanwhile, set a small frying pan over medium heat, add half a cup of apricot jelly or jam, followed by 2 tablespoons of apple cider. Heat this up for a couple of minutes until it turns into a glaze. After a couple of minutes, the glaze is looking beautiful. Now run the glaze through a strainer and set it aside. If the puff pastry starts to puff up, use a knife to let the air out. Go ahead and poke it. Oh, and one more thing. Keep in mind that the apple juices will burn in the tray. However, the apple tart will be just fine. And if everything goes according to plan, your French apple tart would look like this. Now, using a pastry brush, brush the apples and the pastry with the glaze. And I believe that now you are ready to eat. Ooh. Serve the French apple tart warm or at room temperature. There you guys have it, French apple tart. Enjoy, buen provecho. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.